udah Ram ini. Ada suara feedback. Ya nggak? Atau tuh tadi lu, Jay?
Ada suara apa?
Feedback.
Gue udah.
Tes. Nggak ya?
Enggak,
Aman.
enggak bocor. Mau announce dulu ya. Hai guys.
4 menit lagi.
Stream. Store. Tumben. Mas Ganes bisa on cam ya. Lagi di mana, Mas?
Lagi di rumah.
Oh, enggak lagi di luar. Biasanya lagi di luar tuh.
Waduh, enggak. Ini sebenarnya aku ngambil off cuma ya enggak ngapa-ngapain, hijauin aja.
Asik.
Remuk badan ini ngurusin properti
Nikmati
baru.
libur dengan teman-teman BV gitu ya, Nes.
Libur tapi masih harus ngedit foto kemarin.
Oh.
Aduh.
BV adalah rumah kedua. Oke.
Harus ke Bali dua di Bali ini.
Enggak, aku banyak punya rumah. Itu Serayu Sanur rumah ketiga. Apalagi Govin rumah keempat.
Tamrin rumah keberapa? Ada banyak kan kamarnya itu.
Itu kan. Punya banyak rumah.
Waduh. Mas Hafiz, welcome.
Kapan Nes lu ngebuk Serayu Sanur?
Hah?
Kapan lu ngebuk Serayu Sanur?
Waduh, enggak dulu. Bagus sih, cuma ya sekali aja. Kalau disuruh ngebuk bayar sendiri nggak mau.
Oh, harus dari business expenses gitu ya, harus photoshoot ulang.
Yoi.
Prokes ulang.
Nanti itu nambah meja di luar, minta foto ulang, protes ulang pokoknya.
Setiap 5 amenities kebalik lagi ke sana.
Pak Eko libur kah?
Libur kakak.
Aduh, kau kenapa termasuk ya?
Remuk ini badan kakak.
Aduh.
Saya punya badan sudah remuk. Remuk ini.
Kau pernah pijet di Nusa Dua kah?
Aduh. Balijo kakak, Balijo.
Terus.
Kamu mau daftar Akmil mana, Ram? Potongnya cepat gitu, Cok.
Gak apa-apa Kak, sekali-kali. Terima kasih sudah join.
Yes, mulet kepelet join, guys.
Mulet
Show me your mulet.
Ush. Side view. Mana side profile-nya?
Banget.
Siapa? Mas Fasya, ini Pak Dedinya udah join gitu ya. Jadi bakal aku admit, nanti silakan kita ngobrol-ngobrol dulu sama Pak Dedi gitu ya. 1-2 menit sambil sekalian nunggu teman-temannya yang lain masuk, begitu ramean langsung mulai aja. Oke?
Oke.
Berikut aku admit ya.
Kayaknya Pak Dedi udah masuk ini. Halo Pak Dedi, selamat pagi. Wih, itu dia Pak Dedi. Halo.
Speakernya mungkin. Oke, halo, gimana?
Halo Pak Dedi,
Halo.
selamat pagi.
pagi. Ya,
Bagaimana
pagi, Pak.
kabarnya Bapak?
Ya, baik. Gimana? Bentar, saya suaranya
Oh
saya
iya,
atur
iya.
dulu. Oke. Gimana sekarang? Ya, suaranya, halo. Ya,
Udah bagus Pak. Terima kasih
oke.
Pak.
Oke.
Pak Deddy, sekarang saat ini di mana ini Pak? Apalagi di Asensia saat ini?
Ya,
Di
sekarang lagi di Asensia Hill.
area daerah restorannya ini apa ya? Kalau saya nggak salah
Ya,
ingat.
kita maksudnya ada kafenya gitu ya, kafe.
Iya, kafenya.
Oke, ya betul.
Terakhir kali saya waktu di sana itu udah rapi itu Pak. Apa sekarang udah jalan kafenya?
Awal bulan ini kita mulai buka. Jadi sudah berjalan kira-kira ya 9 hari ini ya. 9 hari.
Apakah itu terbuka untuk publik atau hanya untuk tamu Asensia nanti?
Iya, kita terbuka untuk publik kafe kita. Jadi kedepannya mungkin siapa tahu bisa ada kerjasama dengan pihak Bukit Vista juga nih.
Pasti udah para tertarik ini tim marketing untuk ke sana untuk ngecek ke Asensia Hill Cafe ya Pak ya.
Baik. Saya tunggu kedatangannya dengan Pak siapa ya, maaf Bapak?
Bukan saya Pak, kalau saya ini property manager. Kita ada tim spesifiknya nanti untuk marketing.
Baik.
Mungkin nanti Kanadia nanti yang di sana. Untuk ngecek kali ya Pak ya.
Baik, saya tunggu kedatangannya.
Oke, Ram, apa ini udah semuanya? Bisa kita mulai kita mulai pertanyaan dengan Pak Deddy Suhadi hari ini ya.
Betul. Ya.
Oke. Pak Deddy, terima kasih untuk waktunya hari ini. Perkenalkan nama saya Alfasya, bisa dipanggil Fasya. Saya property manager di sini di Bukit Vista. Saya yang biasanya ngurus Fasya.
Fasya, maaf, Fasya nih. Fasya. Oke.
Saya waktu itu sempat property testing di Asensia di lantai 1. Waktu itu kita sempat ketemu, tapi kayaknya waktu itu masih terlalu pagi.
Iya, betul Pak Fasya. Ya, oke.
Oke, sebelum kita mulai aja Pak ya, langsung ke pertanyaan pertama. Saya memperkenalkan diri Bapak dulu. Bapak Deddy Suhadi ini adalah partner kita sejak Mei tahun 2025, owner dari Asensia Hill.
Betul.
Ada yang saya bisa highlight di sini, Bapak selama waktu bisa dibilang Bapak sudah running dari 4 bulan yang lalu, 5 bulan yang lalu, dan sudah menjadi guest favorite di Airbnb dengan rating yang cukup bagus dan konsisten di review dan juga kualitas dari villa Bapak.
Terima kasih.
Ada yang bisa Bapak sampaikan perihal Asensia Hill dari Bapak sendiri? Kenapa Asensia, Pak? Kenapa namanya Asensia? Kenapa di lokasi itu?
Oke, baik. Terima kasih untuk waktu dan kesempatan ini di forum ini ya. Sebagai jujur aja kita sebagai pemain pemula ya, untuk kembali ke pertanyaan nama, pemberian nama Asensia. Ya, Asensia ini sebenarnya tidak terlalu punya makna, tidak bermakna yang spesifik sekali, enggak. Hanya nama ini saya ambil dari suatu tempat yang saya rasa nama itu sangat melekat di hati saya, gitu aja. Jadi untuk nama pemberian nama Asensia Hill adalah karena saya pernah melihat nama ini dan nama ini merasa dengan saya itu mengenal di hati saya. Jadi itulah pemberian nama Asensia Hill. Hill sendiri karena posisi kita itu di bukit. Kalau Asensianya itu yaitu nama yang mengena di hati saya gitu. Tapi maknanya juga nggak ada. Dalam arti makna maaf tidak ada makna yang spesifik sekali atau khusus. Ya.
Mungkin kita punya alasan personal untuk nama-nama tersebut ya Pak ya. Mungkin tidak harus terlalu dalam, tapi ya yang penting kita bisa ingat dan juga personal gitu ya Pak ya. Oke, kalau gitu
betul.
Terima kasih Bapak. Kita lanjut dengan pertanyaan yang lebih ke oh maaf, sepertinya saya nge-lag di sini. Oke. Pertanyaan saya ke Bapak untuk hari ini. Ada 3 pertanyaan. Yang pertanyaan saya ingin bertanya, apa tantangan operasional Bapak yang Bapak alami dalam mengelola villa Bapak?
Baik, ya. Pertama kali kan gini. Sekarang saya sebagai pemain pemula ya, artinya saya baru terjun di bidang ini. Ya, tentu dengan pengalaman yang sedikit minim juga ya, tidak terlalu banyak. Tapi dengan artinya saya punya pengalaman pribadi dalam hal kita sering bepergian, kita tinggal di hotel. Nah, kan itu sebagai apa ya? Sebagai tolak ukurnya. Apa yang ingin kita rasakan jika kita menginap di suatu tempat. Jadi itu yang menjadi tantangan terbesar saya, menciptakan atau mengkreat suasana di mana tamu tinggal itu memperoleh pengalaman yang menyenangkan dan merasa nyaman. Itu mungkin poin yang satu yang saya ingin tekankan di sini. Selain itu, kami juga ingin menjaga kepuasan dari tamu. Ya, terlepas dari seberapa kita yang bisa berikan nilai kepuasan itu kepada si tamu, tapi kita akan tetap berusaha untuk memberikan yang terbaik. Jadi tamu datang, kita hargai, kita berikan yang terbaik, pelayanan yang terbaik, kita anggap seperti ya relasi yang sudah dekat gitu ya Pak ya. Nah, jadi kita juga sering ngajak komunikatif dengan mereka.
Oke.
Ya.
Dan itu seperti bisa dibilang Bapak juga ingin inspire delight kepada tamu-tamu ini.
Ya,
sama
betul.
persis dengan ideologinya Bukit Vista gitu ya Pak ya. Dan
Ya,
mungkin
betul.
ada follow up question dari saya itu. Kenapa
Ya.
Bapak tertarik dengan dunia pervilaan ini Pak? Bagaimana Bapak terjun ke dunia properti ini?
Ya, memang salah satu yang membuat menarik adalah karena Bali itu merupakan ikon destinasi wisata yang nggak jauh dari kita kan. Kita artinya ini potensi yang di depan mata kita. Jadi ini suatu peluang. Bagaimana kita memanfaatkan Bali sebagai destinasi wisata yang sudah punya nama ikon yang begitu kuat sekali. Nah, kita sebagai saya sebagai artinya ya orang Indonesia nih ingin memanfaatkan potensi ini. Jadi disinilah saya terjun ke dunia pariwisata dalam arti dalam spesifikasinya dalam bidang penginapan atau villa ini karena ada potensi, Pak.
Potensi, Bapak melihat potensi dari ya lebih tepatnya Bali dengan sejarah hospitality-nya Bapak ingin ikut untuk mengembangkan turisme Bali gitu ya Pak, Indonesia lah gitu
betul,
ya Pak.
Betul.
Dan Bapak juga yang saya lihat di sini Bapak sebenarnya ingin membagikan pengalaman Bapak melalui bisnis Bapak gitu yang saya lihat, ingin memberikan kualitas pelayanan yang baik dan juga tamu-tamu dari manapun akan merasa senang tinggal di tempat Bapak gitu ya.
Ya, itu yaitu tadi poinnya itu bahwa kenyamanan tamu, memperoleh pengalaman yang menyenangkan, terus dia merasa puas dengan apa yang kita berikan, itu yang menjadi salah satu kunci atau moto dari Asensia Hill dalam melayani tamu-tamu kita.
Yes, experience yang nomor 1 ya Pak ya.
Ya.
Kalau gitu boleh saya tanya, kenapa Bapak memilih Bukit Vista Management untuk menjaga efisiensi villa Bapak?
Pertama-tama tentunya kita banyak juga pilihan untuk menentukan manajemen ataupun yang akan kita ambil, yang akan kita gabung ya, akan ingin kita gabung ke sana. Memang ya saya juga sebelumnya sempat bertanya juga tentang artinya reputasi ya, reputasi dari manajemen juga saya perhitungkan sekali. Jadi sebelumnya saya sempat bertanya dari beberapa owner villa yang bergabung ataupun bergabung dengan manajemen lain. Ya, kemudian setelah kita mengenal lebih jauh dengan Bukit Vista, kita sempat dipanggil ke sana. Dari situ kita melihat bahwa ada suatu reputasi ataupun pengalaman yang cukup di bidang manajemen ini, sehingga kami merasa mungkin inilah pilihan kami yang tepat untuk bergabung dan berkembang dalam mengelola villa kami. Ya,
Baik.
ya.
Dan Bapak berhasil mendapatkan kepercayaan ini yang saya pastikan ya Pak ya, karena dilihat dari performa Bapak sejauh ini udah sangat bagus bisa dibilang begitu ya Pak ya.
Ya, terima kasih.
Dan apakah waktu itu Bapak ingat dengan siapa waktu itu Bapak berbicara perihal Bukit Vista?
Awalnya saya mungkin berbicara sebenarnya gini, waktu kita dapat undangan ke kantor Bukit Vista, kita sempat bertemu dengan ownernya juga, dengan Bu Wayana, dengan guru-guru lain seperti mungkin sedikit lupa ya. Ada beberapa yang awal-awal itu maaf saya agak lupa nih yang pertama-tama itu sering datang itu ya, saya merasa ada dukungan untuk bergabung di Bukit Vista.
Baik. Dan apakah di sini kalau tidak salah ada Ibu Wayana di sini? Mungkin Mo bisa terlihat di sini atau tidak ya? Oh, mungkin belum bisa. Gak apa kalau gitu.
Ya.
Oke, saya dengan senang hati mendengar itu. Tentunya bagaimana Bapak merasa terwelcome lah ke Bukit Vista.
Ya.
Oke Bapak, saya mau lanjut dengan pertanyaan terakhir lebih tepatnya.
Iya.
Bagaimana Bapak memastikan tim dan fasilitas villa selalu terjaga dengan standar tinggi dari hari ke hari Bapak? Bagaimana Bapak menjaga daily operational Bapak?
Ya. Jadi kita memang memberikan suatu arahan terhadap tim atau staf pekerja di sini. Jadi kita berikan poin-poin yang menjadi perhatian tentang apa yang mestinya dan seharusnya suatu hunian ataupun villa itu disukai oleh tamu. Yang jelas pasti kebersihan. Ya, jadi kita koordinasikan dengan tim ini satu kebersihan, terus kerapian juga. Staf-staf ini saya usahakan untuk mereka itu lebih dengan tamu itu menghargai dan juga membuat mereka seperti ya memang banyak komentar mereka seperti homey gitu loh. Artinya kita ada pendekatan komunikasi yang tamu itu tidak merasa asing dengan tempat tinggal kita. Ya tentunya ini yang kita tekankan kepada tim yang mengelola hariannya itu, yang baik itu kebersihannya, baik itu yang bagian nanti resepsionisnya, mereka kita arahkan atau kita briefing setiap kali saya atau kami merasa ada sesuatu yang kurang. Jadi berikan pengarahan yang kontinu itu yang membuat villa kami tetap terjaga, baik itu mengenai standar kebersihannya ataupun juga kerapiannya ataupun juga hubungannya dengan tamu-tamu.
Dan apakah sebelum Bapak terjun masuk ke properti, apakah Bapak udah ada gambaran waktu itu bagaimana tim Bapak akan beroperasional?
Ya, dengan pengalaman, kalau pengalaman mengelola memang saya tidak ada ya Pak ya. Tapi dengan pengalaman saya sebagai traveler, saya sering bepergian dengan standar yang saya sering lihat, itu menjadi acuan dan mungkin juga yang memberikan suatu motivasi kepada saya, sehingga inilah yang akan saya transferkan atau saya arahkan ke tim saya. Dan kebetulan ada juga tim kami yang memang sudah punya pengalaman di bidang hospitality, sehingga mungkin pengarahan dari saya juga tidak satu arah. Artinya mereka juga saya berikan kesempatan untuk memberikan masukan atau feedback kepada saya. Jadi kita saling bertukar pengalaman, dari satu sisi mereka sebagai pelaku dan saya sebagai pernah menjadi traveler atau pengalaman merasakan sebagai tamu. Nah, ini yang kita bagikan kepada mereka dan juga saya mendapatkan masukan dari mereka. Seperti itu, Pak.
Oh, baik-baik. Jadi ada banyak feedback loop dari antara Bapak dan juga tim Bapak gitu ya.
Betul.
Dengan tujuan untuk menjaga kualitas dari Villa Asensia.
Betul.
Dan begitu, Bapak.
Ya,
Dan
betul.
untuk Bapak mendesain feedback apa yang digunakan dan apa yang tidak, itu dari segi apa, Pak?
Bisa diulangi, artinya penggunaannya di bidang apa? Aplikasinya kemana? Ke room atau kemana maksudnya gini?
Ke operasional Bapak. Misalnya Bapak mendapatkan feedback dan Bapak memberikan feedback kembali ke tim Bapak, dan itu bagaimana Bapak mendesain apa yang harus dieksekut, apa yang harus dilaksanakan dari feedback tersebut.
Ya, sebenarnya sih arahan yang diberikan itu bukan yang artinya bukan yang terlalu rumit. Jadi hal-hal yang simple, tapi mungkin mereka kadang kalau enggak istilahnya kita beritahu sering kita arahkan ini mereka terlupakan. Jadi hospitality kan sebenarnya enggak terlalu banyak hal, artinya tidak melibatkan suatu yang rumit ya, hal yang rumit, hanya kita kebersihan, kerapian, keramahan, itu yang tadi dari awal yang kita tekankan, sehingga ini impact-nya kan jadi tamu memperoleh sesuatu yang menyenangkan, pengalaman yang menyenangkan dan merasa nyaman itu. Jadi itulah hal-hal yang seperti itu yang rasanya hal-hal sebenarnya nggak terlalu sulit dilaksanakan, tapi memang perlu kita itu kontrol yang ya, karena ini kan baru ya Pak ya, jadi kontrol yang lebih intens gitu loh Pak. Mungkin kalau yang sudah berjalan lama, oke lah, mungkin bisa berjalan dengan sendirinya. Tapi kan saya baru memulai, sehingga saya rasa ini perlu diintenskan untuk hal-hal seperti ini.
Jadi Bapak lebih menekankan untuk kulturnya dulu ya Pak ya di villa Bapak, dan pastikan dulu kultur itu sudah padat dan sudah mendarah daging lah dengan employee Bapak sebelum lanjut ke depannya gitu ya Pak ya.
Ya,
jadi bisa dibilang tahap sekarang ini lebih ke reinforcement gitu ya Pak.
Ya.
Lebih ke fondasi-fondasinya dulu.
Betul, ya seperti itu.
Baik.
Betul.
Oke Bapak, baik. Terima kasih untuk jawaban-jawaban sejauh ini. Mungkin kita bisa lanjut dengan sesi berikutnya, yaitu Q&A session, di mana teman-teman kita di sini akan menanyakan Bapak secara langsung dari pengalaman Bapak dan juga Asensia, dan juga mungkin pengalaman Bapak di Bukit Vista.
Baik.
Oke, kalau gitu, bagi teman-teman yang mau mungkin ada pertanyaan untuk Pak Denny, bisa silahkan. Oke, kalau ya silakan Kak Bella.
Ya.
Halo Pak Dedi, saya Bella, saya bagian revenue manager. Kemarin sempat ketemu sama Christopher sama Christina juga ketika Roundtable Talk. Saya mau tanya, karena tadi kan udah sudut dari partner ya Pak ya, sebagai pemilik properti. Nah, kalau dari sudut pandang sebagai tamu nih Pak, karena kan Bapak sering traveling juga kan. Ketika Bapak ke Bali, biasanya apa yang Bapak kunjungi favoritnya? Terus biasanya cari stay di mana, Pak? Apakah ya karena udah ada Ascentia jadi di Ascentia, atau biasanya Bapak eksplor kemana nih sebagai tamu?
Ya, pertama-tama tentunya kita akan menentukan dari dulu, dari awal perjalanan kita mau kemana. Tentunya kalau kita lihat Bali kan ada spot-spot wisata yang cukup menarik ya. Nah, kemudian kita rangkaikan juga dengan kesempatan atau waktu yang kita miliki tentunya. Seandainya misalkan kita ingin spot yang nuansanya alam, nature, kan mungkin seperti kita ke Kintamani atau ke Bedugul. Nah, kita juga tentukan rute perjalanannya, kemudian stay-nya ya tentunya dekat dengan yang nggak jauh, artinya tidak jauh dengan spot-spot wisata itu. Tentang kriteria tempat untuk menginapnya, tentunya ya mungkin sama dengan tamu-tamu saya di sini ya. Mereka kan akan melihat review suatu suatu penginapan. Jadi dari review yang kita lihat itu, kita akan bisa menentukan pilihan mana yang tempat yang akan kita pilih untuk stay. Terlepas dari ya mungkin dari budget juga ada ukurannya, mungkin dari jarak ke tempat wisata yang nggak terlalu jauh, mungkin itu juga salah satu pertimbangannya.
Oke. Oke, mantap ya Pak. Jadi dari review banget nih sebagai master of traveler saya lihat ya, banyak sekali pengalamannya.
Betul.
Oke, terima kasih Bapak untuk jawabannya. Sampai ketemu kalau ada kesempatan ya Pak.
Baik Ibu Bella, terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Halo Kak Bella, terima kasih untuk pertanyaannya. Mungkin ada lagi yang mau follow up question dengan Pak Dedi, mungkin dari segi pengalaman Pak Dedi sebagai expert traveler, ya kan? Mungkin ditanya juga, Pak Dedi, apa yang Bapak Dedi cari waktu Bapak keliling? Atau mungkin apa sih Pak properti yang bikin Bapak itu, wah saya mau book itu? Mungkin ada yang bertanya seperti itu? Kalau enggak, itu pertanyaan saya Bapak ke Bapak.
Oke. Ya, kembali lagi ke tadi ya. Memang kadang saya juga akan mencari sesuatu yang aneh, unik, bukan aneh sih ya, unik ataupun lain dari yang lain ya. Tapi dari semua itu kan belum tentu kalau misalkan unik, tapi dengan review atau ketertarikan tamu-tamu lain ke lokasi tersebut kurang kan juga bisa menjadi semacam suatu nilai kekurangan lah dari properti itu. Jadi kembali lagi semua itu review itu sangat jujur. Jadi review itu sangat jujur dan sangat menentukan pilihan suatu properti. Kembali lagi kalau memang reviewnya bagus, pasti ada sesuatu yang nilai nih dari properti itu sendiri. Itu saya rasa yang jadi poinnya sih Pak.
Wah, berarti Bapak lebih fokus ke objektifnya ya Pak ya dari properti tersebut, baru reviewnya. Sesuatu yang bisa quantifiable. Oke, Bapak. Apakah kita masih ada waktu untuk satu pertanyaan lagi? Oh baik, berarti itu pertanyaan terakhir dari kita ya Pak ya.
Baik.
Nah, kita akan lanjut ke sesi berikutnya dan Bapak bisa stay di sini jika Bapak berkenan, karena kita akan lanjut ke mission statement kita dari Bukit Vista. Gitu Bapak.
Baik, selama saat ini saya nggak ada kepentingan yang lain, saya bisa untuk tetap hadir atau join di forum ini.
Baik. Oke Bapak, selamat datang di All Hands kita kalau begitu.
Terima kasih.
Oke, Pak Jing, the floor is yours.
All right, everybody. Here, Pak Dedi is here, and we want to say thank you. Terima kasih kepada bisa kunjungan kami hari ini. We're going to go into I guess normally it would be a private thing, but we want to be transparent, right? And it's okay for sure people to see what we're about to do. All right. How's everyone doing? Okay. Good. More or less. Okay. All right. So normally I have inspirational things to say, but currently I'm not feeling very inspired. And so I'll tell everybody why. Okay. As a CEO of a company, my job is to make sure that we reach our goals. My job is to make sure people like Pak Dedi trust us and actually have faith in our brand and make sure that we can have trust amongst guests, partners, and employees. Now, I feel like I've been breaking some of that trust because it's been 2 semesters and we haven't reached our goals. Okay. So this is the second semester in a row that we haven't reached our revenue goals. And those of you who are here probably have understood also the other goals are looking not so good as well. Okay. Now, I would like to think that we have some pretty smart people here. Okay. I'd like to think that we have some pretty motivated people here. I'd like to think that everyone here is doing a good job. Okay. That's my default belief for everyone who is part of our employee community. I would like to think that that's what we should expect from our partner community too as well. So when I discover that there are people who really aren't doing that, I get pretty upset because I know there are those amongst you who are working really hard. I know, I watch you guys work, right? Now there's among you who are making sacrifices every day to make sure that we reach our goals. And there are those amongst you who have put together and put aside other ambitions, other plans, and other things to do in life to pursue the goals here at Boca Vista. You could have gotten jobs elsewhere, you could have done work elsewhere, but you chose to stay here. Okay? And I respect all the people who do that because those are the friends of Boca Vista. And occasionally we discover that there's people who are not like that. We discover people who are probably working for their own benefit, but not for the benefit of the team. And they know that, and they don't apologize, and they let that continue. When we find out that there's people like that, okay, we have to make a choice. Do we tolerate that, or do we not tolerate that? Okay? Now, today I'm in Jogja, and this week I've been in Jogja, and I found a very, very interesting question that I've been asking everybody here, which is 2 questions. Is Indonesia a democracy, and is the government really corrupt? I'll just say those 2 things. Is Indonesia really a democracy, and is the government corrupt? And so I challenge a lot of young people to think, and I say, you know what? I don't think there's any corruption at all in the government. I think 0. There's 0 corruption in the government. And of course, everyone's confused. They're like, well, of course there's corruption. There's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. I say, well, there can only be corruption if you see it through the frame of there's a democracy, okay? But if there's no real participation or anything in a democracy, then the government's just doing what it's always been doing. Do you guys want to know what the government I think is? The government's not corrupt. The government's actually doing a pretty good job as a business. You want something from the government, you pay. If you pay more, the votes are yours, the system is yours. Whoever pays the highest controls the government. It's a business, okay? And it works pretty well as a business. Now the question is Indonesia a democracy, okay? And where does a democracy really begin? It begins when you have goals, you have a vision. You participate in the government by saying, you know what, I think the government can do a small little thing, like maybe clear up the traffic. Not in the entire area, just in my neighborhood, okay? I think the government can provide a 24-hour place for students to study so that we don't have to spend money writing our theses in these cafes where we have to buy coffee every half hour. I think the government can have a small little goal, maybe just a simple thing, just clean up the river, right? I think the government can put barricades in the river so that the trash doesn't wash up on the beach, okay? But the government doesn't do that, and usually somebody private does that, and then that's it, right? So it runs as a business again. All right, so what does that have to do with us? What does that have to do with what's happening here at Boca Vista? So when everybody chooses not to care about what's happening within, maybe that's what corruption is. Maybe corruption begins when I choose not to care about what the bigger goal is in our company. I choose to care a little bit more about if I come out ahead and I can get less work done and be paid more, okay? Maybe that's what corruption is. So when I see this, I'm immediately offended. I'm immediately disgusted because this is a small problem that then becomes a big problem, then becomes a national problem, that then leads to all the protests, unrest, demonstrations that you see, okay? So you all have a choice here. You can choose to try to do what's good for the entire company. And then when the company does good, everyone does good. Bonuses are paid, semester. We're very generous when we hit our goals. Or you can work privately to enhance your own, either working less and getting paid more and hope nobody detects it. But nobody's stupid here. We're not fools. We'll eventually find out the company has goals. That's what it's for, okay? So any part that isn't working that's privately benefiting themselves will be removed from the organization so that the rest of the people who are doing a good job can actually expect what they should be expecting and deserving. Now, I want to apologize to everybody who's worked really hard this semester. I know who you guys are. I've seen you guys work. And many of the hardest working people often feel the most pain of the day-to-day. I see it. But yet, I feel bad for you, and I apologize to you guys because you're absorbing too much pain that you should not. You should count on your people to do their jobs too. And it's just really sad to see that happen over and over again, okay? So I've tried my best to lead in the best way I thought possible. I've gone way out of my way to hustle as much as I can, but I can't do this alone. I've said that since the beginning. I really can't. I need everybody to pull together, okay? And when we find people who are really not pulling together with us, it really upsets me and taking the action. All right, my apologies to everybody who's been working hard. The semester goal is, once again, it's 2 times in a row that it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I have no illusions at this point that it's gonna happen. All I can hope for is this. All I can hope for is with all the smart people we gather, with all the amazing tools that we have, okay? All the great talent that we've taken years and years to accumulate here, we can reach future goals because we can focus on the mission more. And if you're one of the people that need to step up, this is your chance to step up yourself, or the next time we won't ask you to step up, okay? We'll just show you the door. So please, okay? 2 failures in a row is becoming a bad habit. I'm not going to really tolerate this anymore. So these goals are serious, okay? They're not just, okay, not just fantasies or whatever. These are real goals and we want to really reach them, all right? Okay, that's it. That's it. So bad news, but once again, as an entrepreneur, the only thing that you need to decide is this, all right? This is always going to be an entrepreneurial company, whether we make $10 a month or $10 million a month. We're always going to think and act and behave like entrepreneurs. And what entrepreneurs do when they fail is that they find a way to get back up with double the strength that they did before. And if that's not your style, then please don't work here. Work for another place, okay? Go and find another job somewhere where you belong. But if being an entrepreneur is something that you want to do, being an entrepreneur is something that you look forward to doing, being an entrepreneur is something that you enjoy doing, then we want you here. We want you to continue. I apologize to everybody who's serious about doing their work because I failed you guys this semester. Okay, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Bajing, and I appreciate the openness regarding the current issues that we're facing, even after 2 failure semesters. Okay, well, we're gonna move on to Mas Hafiz's presentation regarding the semester performance.
Okay, thank you. Please help to share the screen.
Kok bisa dengar orang lain tapi nggak bisa dengar suaramu ya?
Okay, thank you, Fasha, for helping me sharing the screen. Good morning, everybody. So this is one of the new property launch this week. Yes, correct, Mas Agus B. This is Govin Villa, and the property already got 2 bookings. The first booking will be check-in in 10 September, which is tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. So next slide, please. Okay, this is the reminder of our semester target, which is will be end this month. So the revenue target is 3.6 million USD. Hospitality target is 85% factor rating. Brand target or partner stability is $255 US. So next. This is the hospitality target achievement this semester. So please go to the next slide. The first metric, accuracy. This week we got an increase by 0.2%. Next. Check-in. Check-in, we got an increase as well by 0.1%. Cleanliness 2 weeks in a row, increasing by 0.1% this week. Next. Communication, we got an increase by 0.1% this week. Next. Location, this is the only metrics that got stagnant this week in 73.5%. Next. And this is the only metrics that got decreased this week, which is value decreased by 0.1%. Next. So how about our overall quality? We now at the 84%, which is lacking 1% to achieve the target 85% 5-star ratings. Next. So what about the non-5-star reviews we got this week? There is some reviews coming from Inspire Branding and Inspire Investment Properties. There is a non-5-star reviews coming from Serayu Mertanadi, Kasanala, Carbonida. Next. Rara Villa, Cloud Hills, Glamping, and Casa Breeze. So this is the summary of the non-5-star review we got this week. Overall, we still got a bump up compared to the last week, yeah. So if you guys want to read it, the details, you can check the tab. Thank you, Pasha. I'll pass the next session to Furqan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Hafiz. Good morning, everyone. So we are moving into the churn target updates. Next slide, please. A bit of a good news. We secured the re-onboarding for Villa Saluna, which it led to a decrease in pattern churn expenses. So previously, it was stated that the current progress has exceeded 300,000 since Villa Saluna re-onboarding. Now the budget has been reduced. No, the expenses has been reduced into 271,000. However, first shout out to Pasha and also Bella. Pasha for give decision on the Haka replacement for Villa Saluna, and also Bella to secure the contract extension. However, this needs to be informed that this is still exceeding the our current budget at 255,000 USD for the pattern budget churn. So still overlooking. However, just would like to inform about the good news here to everyone. Moving into the next slide. Onto the revenue target achievement. So we are in 3 weeks ahead to close this semester, and our current revenue achievement is at 3,200,000 USD. We are around 10% left to achieve the revenue target at 375,000 USD needs to be catch in the last 3 weeks. So this is the report regarding the revenue. Thank you very much to Mas Hafiz and also to Fasha for the floor. I would like to give the floor back to the moderator, which is Jason.
Okay, thank you, Kak Furqan, for passing the stage. Now we can continue to the next session, which is the company theme, target, and achievement. Please, Kak Furqan.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe the screen sharing needs to be conducted by the host. Pasha, please share the screen. Oh, okay, while waiting for Pasha to share the screen, I would like to update regarding September 2025 target. Thank you very much, Pasha. So it has been announced that previously our revenue target is at 640 45,000 USD. Our current achievement at around 408,000 USD, accounting around 63.4% of the progress. For the hospitality rating, our target is at 89.5%. Our current achievement is at 84.2%, accounting around 94% of the progress. Our brand target, the churn is not yet happening in the first week of September. On the starting revenue target for October, we are currently, our target was set at 350,000, and our current achievement at around 155,000 USD, accounting around 44% of the progression. So, what are our opportunities so far for September? In the first week of September, counting into the second week, we managed to have 45% occupancy, 5% expired debts, 5% maintenance, and also 3% on the reset so far. We have 42% net available to sell to achieve our revenue target. So this is the report. Thank you very much. Back to you, Jason.
Okay, thank you very much, Kak Furqan, for the company theme, target, and achievement. We can move on to the next section, which is the weekly mission inspiration. For the first one is we have the mission is to inspire delight through hospitality innovation that positively transform our partners. Please, we have Reza for the first one, and please also tell us how this can impact our revenue goal, actually. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jason. So this is the value risk maps. So I have rebuilt the value risk maps from BNPP and implemented to our website main page. For now, the available service is limited to the float risk because we want to test the performance before truly rolling out across to our site. So going forward, we can also expand this map by adding more service such as float risk or other relevant indicator to stronger its value and usefulness. So this feature also impact the revenue because we could integrate it to our investment strategy service by offering risk-aware insight, and we can attract more investor and property owner who want to make smarter, safer, and high return decision in Bali property market. So thank you.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Reza, for showing us and create this, and let us know how it impacts our revenue or overall target, Reza.
Yes, so this map is potentially will improve our revenue because it will like we can attract more investors to use our investment strategy services.
Okay, amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I believe it's from you as well, Reza.
Oh, okay. So the next one is the observation from notification. So on the activity page, the reservation button previously redirected to Budi WhatsApp, and now has been replaced with a form. Whenever someone submit the form, notification will automatically appear in the option table task Slack channel, and this change make the RTT SSVP process more trackable and structured with regular data, and we can better analyze participant number, forecast engagement, and connect the result to revenue pipeline by tracking how the many participants convert into the qualified leads and deals. So this provide the clear visibility into ROI and support the data-driven growth decision. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reza. So we are hoping that many people are going to be self-signed into our RTT, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's Bukit Vista's mission to inspire delight through hospitality innovation that positively transform our employees. Please, Rama, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Jason. And for Kak Fasha, there's a link there. You can open the link, yeah. So this is about Career Compass Performance Analysis or CCPA. So previously I had iterations with Kak Furqan, guided by Mr. Jing, yeah, and we are able to establish a standardized performance evaluation workflow using LPT metrics and Oxman Krebs cycle, named Career Compass Performance Analysis or CCPA. This is a very new initiative as it helps a lot in simplifying the performance appraisal process, especially for leaders and UM level, and it has been proven success utilized by Kak Bella and Mas Gani in evaluating their members' performance. And the good news is that the workflow is now accessible for everyone, especially for UMs, yeah, and you could read the principle and the process, even the tutorial video on the link attached at the page. And how it impacts our revenue or overall target, because this process has helped us HR team and UMs to conduct a more concise and simplified performance appraisal that might help us in staying on track with the expected performances in achieving revenue and overall targets. So thank you. Back at you, Jason.
Okay, thank you very much, Rama, and make sure people can check the link below on Rama's innovation. Okay, we can move on to the next section, which is the inspiring the hospitality industry through technological innovation. We have from Karobin here. Karobin, please. The stage is yours.
Okay, so this is improvement for our monitoring dashboard in Datadog. So previously, we don't have a dashboard error. We only have a performance monitoring dashboard because back then we want to improve the performance of the application. And since our application performance is now quite stable, we are moving on to error monitoring. So here's what the error monitoring on our Datadog backend dashboard includes. So we monitor the error rate, and then we monitor the endpoint to identify which one encounter error more frequently. So we can hotfix the endpoint can be applied immediately. Let me share screen the dashboard there. Okay. Can you see my screen? No?
Not yet, Karobin. I think it's loading. Now we can see your screen, Karobin.
Okay, so this is the error monitoring dashboard looks like. So we got the error rate, and then on the right side, there is a list of endpoint that encounter error. So if there are a lot of error in the endpoint, we will try to fix it immediately, and hopefully we will reduce the number of error rate. So the total error that occur on the endpoint for get endpoint is 0.43%, for post endpoint 0.28%, and put endpoint 0.13%. So the overall error rate is 0.84%, which means success rate on bigger backend is 99.16%. An error rate of 0.84% is still quite high, and we will consistently work on reducing this number. With this error monitoring in place, the impact is that we want to make Bibigo more comfortable to use, ensuring a smoother operation. So this is serve as the foundation for our revenue and hospitality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Karobin. I believe Bang Fasha, is the screen share still on? I mean, I cannot see here from our place, but let us continue to Ega. From Ega. Yeah.
Okay, maybe let me share my screen, yeah, for the demo.
Okay, later, don't forget to let us know as well the impacts to our revenue and overall target, yeah, Ega.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet, Ega. I haven't seen your screen. Okay. Perhaps as we wait for your share screen, you can tell us what is this about, Ega?
Okay, today I want to share something new and important for Bivigo. Bivigo is officially integrated with Datadog, ya, same as Kak Robin previously. But this is in Bivigo side, and the main goal is to give us clear, more detail and real-time monitoring of our mobile application performance. In the past, whenever there was a bug or a user complaint, we had to manually check logs or wait for feedback. But now with Datadog, we can monitor up performance in real time, and we can easily identify errors, crash, and bottlenecks on specific screens. And most importantly, we can make faster decision because everything is measured and visible, ya. Okay, for the first is performance overview. On the first section, we have a quick overview of the app's health, crash free, that is 100%, and total screen view give us insight into user activity, and we also see application start time by version. So if a specific app version cause issue, we know right away. For the second is mobile vitals, that is this section highlight the app's health from a user experience perspective. Slow renders, we can identify which screens are taking too long loading, ya. Frozen frames is taking more than 700 milliseconds are flagged for optimization. And then memory and CPU usage, ya. So as which screen consume the most resource. For example, is our home and login are the heaviest. And the next is crashes and errors, ya. Okay. Here we dive into errors in more detail. Crash rate and error rate are tracked over time. Error are broken down per screen, like action details, or finance accounting. This help developer immediately know which screen are the main troublemakers, without guesswork. Okay, in conclusion, this Datadog integration is give us a single source of truth. Bivigo application health, from crashes to errors to resource usage. Everything is tracked neatly, so next time an issue arise, will be more proactive instead of reactive. And more important is, since Bivigo is mainly used by our partners like property managers, property owner, and staff, having a smooth, reliable app directly improve their daily operation. When partners can trust the app to run without crashes or delays, they become more productive, happier, and more engaged with our platform. This means into higher partner satisfaction, stronger retention, and ultimately better revenue contribution toward Bukit Vista overall business targets. Okay, that is for me. Thank you. Back to Jason.
Okay, thank you very much, Ega, for resolving issue and making our Bivigo run smoother. Okay, so we can move on to the next section, which is from Kak Wendy. Kak Wendy, please, the stage is yours.
All right. I will share my screen first. Wait. So I'll share a bit about our update in Bigger, especially on finance request page. There's an adjustment, enhancement. You will find an action button on the table in here, which used for updating the data, finance request data. You can select any finance request data that you want to edit, and then you just click the action button, and then you can edit whatever details you want. For example, I'll take a test request for example here. For example, I'll try to update this one. Just update the detail. For example, you can just update anything. For example, here we update the category, the request date to 5, and then just save it, and then it will be updated. Here you can see the updated request date and the expense type. We change it into operational tools. And also another adjustment that another feature that we created is using Google Colab. Google Colab, we use it for bulk expense input. So you can input a lot of expenses at the moment using this script. For example, Kadofit have used this script just now to input some expenses, and I guess it's already successful. You already use it. I'll give you an overview on how it will look like. So first you have to run all the script until it finishes to run all the script. And right here on the below, you will find a table like this one. You can select any input if you want to input any expenses, and you can add a row. It will add a row below the first row, and then you can remove last if you want to remove any row, the last row that you just have added. And then if you already confident with the inputs, you can just submit, and then it will be submitted to the finance request, and it will be available in here also. In Bigger. I think that's all for the information, and I believe this adjustment will speed up the expense entry, especially for the bulk input, and increase the operational efficiency and support scaling, ultimately boosting partner trust and long-term revenue growth. Since there will be no confusion, if there's any mistake, you can just quickly update the data in Bigger. I think that's all for me. If you have any question, you can just ask me through Slack. And I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kak Wendy, for this feature update on our Bigger. I hope it will speed up the operational efficiency. Okay, we can continue to our next session. And before we continue, I would like to announce that we are taking an extension for around 5 minutes. Okay, we can move on to the core value recognition. Right here, we have the first one from recruitment. Could we start from Rama, I think?
It's from Pak Jing, Jason.
Oh, it's from Pak Jing. Sorry. Okay. Thank you for the correction, Rama. I think you can move
I should
on.
start using my own thing. Okay. And as core values have been light, it's either probably no core values are happening or just not being seen, but I did see a few, so I'll mention them. I come with this base here in Jogja, and it really gives me a good feeling because I can see people care. There's this sense that people at the space are really holding up and keeping the light going strong, and they're also inspiring other people around them. So that's something that is rare, and it's special. So good stuff. And it's this one's Lutfi's first, right? Let's go with the other one first. Let's go with the Furqan and have this one first. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the story about Furqan and Hafiz is I come over to this base in Jogja from time to time, and sometimes I don't know what to expect, right? But I can see that Donnie has organized these two folks here to carry on a very strong culture. How do I know the culture is strong? Because when you add more people to it, it just gets better. When we add more students to it, it gets better. When we add more visitors to it, it gets better. It gets even more energetic. That can only happen if there's a good beginning. Okay, so that's the Hafiz and Furqan. Keep up the good work, guys. Keep the culture running the way it should be. All right, next one is to Lutfi. Lutfi is a curious and funny guy, actually. I've only met Lutfi in real life just recently. He reminds me of Spock in Star Trek, actually. But Lutfi has a really good approach towards new challenges because he stays curious, and I find that very amazing. A lot of times when people reach new challenges, what they'll do is they'll freeze, they'll stock up, and they won't do anything. But Lutfi approaches everything with curiosity, and he just dares to do it. He started doing street interviews. He said, let's go surfing, and just did. And I like that spontaneity. That approach is very refreshing. And I think it adds energy to entrepreneurship culture. So that's good.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jing. And we can move on to the next one from Mo'ayana.
Okay, so I went to Pandida last time. It is for Hafiz actually. So I don't want to basically contact the partner using my phone because it's by default they're gonna come to me. So I asked Hafiz to make a newsletter. So last minute, okay, Hafiz, can you help me make this and saying that I'm one day in there, so they're gonna come or they're gonna make it or missed it. Like that's the message. So he made it the last time and very last minute, but consider like from 7 like four partners came, so it's like not bad, you know. Thank you so much on that. Yeah.
Okay, we can move on to the next one. Thank you, Hafiz, and Mo'ayana for recognizing Hafiz. Yep.
Okay, this one to Bella and Lutfi actually. So last time when it was a studio day. On studio day, like the first time I joined like more like on the storytelling side, and then after finish I went to the Bayu's class, and then I heard, oh, we can automate this because I feel like, oh, actually that can be done, like, you know, can automate it Slack and calendar in the same time. I feel like that's I feel like a calling in there, so that's I'm gonna do that. So and then there's another class, and I have a goal. I wanted to do like automated my thing. But it's struggling. I see Bayu, oh, click this, click that. I have like kind of a bit confused, and I'm just next to him, you know, because even in the screen I'm still a bit confused. So I just next to him, and I see the way he, you know, drag thing and click this thing that I try to understand, but it was like still confusing. But I just play around. It was take like, I don't know, almost 2 hours, and then it's from then like only 2 success, and then the 2 one like I drag Bella, like she's cooking and then help me and Lutfi as well here. So congratulations for Bella and Lutfi, like help other themselves. That's very awesome actually.
Great. Okay, thank you, Mo'ayan and Kabela, and also Lutfi for your kindness. We can move on to the next section. Actually, the last one, the announcement. You have one announcement, actually. Yeah, Kak Fulkon.
Okay, I will just make it quick. So I would like to announce that we have ended the employment relationship with Pandu as of Sunday last week. The reason being that Pandu is not meeting the expectation to deliver Gaia into art section as an agreed per previous month. So this is an alarm and also an alert to all of us, which also Mr. Jing has also mentioned earlier in his session, to make sure that we keep up our expectation high and also deliver our best, not slacking, not have time to slow it down. Any of offboarding dependencies later on will be taken care by Rama, and the senior leaders and also the management team have also formed the replacement for Pandu, making sure that our base grounded for guest experience is still managed, currently being handed over to Gray for the project Gaia development. So there is the announcement. Mr. Jing, if you would like to add anything, please.
Yeah, I would like to add something. So I'll take over the screen and I'd like to share a quick story to bring everybody's levels up, okay? So everyone has a choice, and some people make good choices, some people make bad choices, okay? Let me show you somebody who makes good choices. All right, this is Ardon. Ardon's from Jakarta. Ardon and I ran into each other at UC Berkeley almost a year and a half ago. Ardon's makes some pretty smart choices. One of the choices he chooses is he chooses to hang out with good people. He chooses to hang out with these two people, Gary Tan and Bo Lu. Who are these people? They're like nobodies, right? No. They're the founders of Y Combinator and also another company called Clipboard. Pretty outstanding people. Well, just today, I was looking for some meaning throughout all these works that we do that is heavily involved in AI. I found that Ardon is actually pretty good. He understands because he learns from the best people. He learns from people better than anybody even here in this company, including myself, okay? He understood that this is what it is. Craft beats hype. The opposite of slop is craft, born from authorship and authenticity. So with AI, you can make slop or you can make craft. So I would encourage everybody to think of how to use AI to make more craft and be craftspeople. Okay, craftsmen, craftswomen about that. Don't make slop. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jing. And so hand it over back to Jason for the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think that's all for today's All Hand. I would like to remind you guys to fill out the personal updates asynchronously on our personal updates page. And I think we're going to see you next week on the next All Hands session. Thank you for attending today's All Hands. And yeah, let's get back to work. Let's go. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day of work.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone.